All right, so here's a little tech tip for you in terms of what I did for the fuel filter. So this is just a $30 fuel filter housing. You have to just take a wrench to this section right here and then just unscrew it. And you have the filter element here. Now this is a 30 micron filter element that actually just pretty much just latches onto there with this little rubber O-ring that it's got here. So 40 microns is good if it was maybe on the return line going back to the pump, because it's already been filtered nicely. But for the pump to the injectors, you want to have 10 microns or below, or at least that's what's recommended. Filtration is not really my forte, but based on everything that I'm reading, in fact, some of the stock fuel filters for the LT1s, LS engines are actually rated at 5 or even 4 microns. The smaller the micron number, so in other words, 1, 3, 4, 10, the smaller the particles that they actually filter out. So the larger one, the larger they let through. So you don't really want something sitting at about 30 microns, 40 or 50 microns, going from the pump and then getting filtered all the way to the injectors, because the injectors, you know, fine particles will damage them. So you want to go lower. So Aeromotive, great company, a lot of people recommend them, make some awesome fuel filters, pumps, and fuel delivery systems. But they have this element here, and this fits any 2-inch universal cylinders type fuel filter. And this one here is the 12801, and this is the cellulose. Let me see here if it actually says the material, but it's a paper-like material that actually you can only use this for gasoline. You can't use this for diesel, but regardless, this will hit EFI. You can get a micro glass, if I'm not mistaken, type filament for about $50, but I was kind of showing this is like the budget conscious way of doing it. If you get the actual fuel filter, housing, and this element inside, you're going to be looking at in excess of $100. The main thing that this does is the 10 microns filter. At least to me, that's the effective part of this fuel filter. So all you do is replace the internal element. So you make sure this goes in. There you go. And then you slide it into your housing. I need to edit the video because I lost the clip where I talk about the orientation or the flow. As you can tell, this is obviously not the one that you're seeing on the video. When I made the edits, I lost the original footage because I was splicing everything together. But I wanted to clarify on the orientation. Reason being is you don't always get a universal filter housing that actually shows the flow. And here's one that I'll probably be using for, or I'm considering using for the return line, depending on what happens. But I've already sealed it, and that's the flow. And the way this works is, the way the direction of flow goes is, if this was going to the injectors, so from the gas tank to the injectors, the filter element would be like this. This is the recommended way of doing it. Now, there are some housings that say either or will do. But for the element that Aeromotive sells, the cellulose element that I show in the video, the recommended orientation is the fuel pressure comes and hits here, gets dispersed all around, and then gets filtered inside the element, and then goes to the injectors via that method. So, from the tank to the injectors, that's the way it would be internally. So there we go. This is your 10 micron filter, which cost me, like I said, $30, and then this was about $17, $20. So for less than $50, you just made an Aeromotive $100, $130 fuel filter. And we're just going to put the AN fittings here. I'm covering that because I'm going to have to do some test fitting outside, so that's why the masking tape is there, but it'll be AN6 all the way around. Anyways, thought I'd share that. Hopefully that helps a few of you.